Welcome to episode 35 of the Nomad Summit Podcast, another one that we record in person in Chiang Mai.
And we're actually in Pond Space, co-working space here, and just 5 meters away was where you and I, Christoph, had the first meeting about starting the podcast. This is where it all began, right here.
Yeah, actually there's so many places in Chiang Mai that are loaded with memories.
Yeah.
This is also the place where we have the destination day of the Nomad Summit. So the owners of this co-working space, the very lovely Thai couple, Penny and Noon, they are very supportive of our community and have already been long before COVID, when our previous owner and original co-founder, Johnny FD, was hosting the Nomad Summit. So there's a long-standing partnership.
I met Johnny here for the first time as well.
Very likely.
Yeah.
And today we are sitting here with Alison and Graham. Alison is one of the 3 Nomad Summit Scholarship winners and has just arrived with her husband in Chiang Mai. Welcome.
Thank you.
And this is almost Doctors Without Borders. Well, for animals.
For animals, that's kind of our small vision that is gradually growing, and we're just loving the opportunity to combine our passion for travelling and meeting people with actually doing some good and paying forward, as it were. And my profession being a veterinarian, what better way than to help the animals?
Yeah.
And for those of you who are just listening to the audio version of this podcast, both of them are wearing nice t-shirts that have a logo and a slogan saying vetaroundtheworld.com.
And also for those listening, they might pick up on your accent that you guys are from New Zealand.
Yep. We're Kiwis.
You're Kiwis, the part of the world that sometimes get cut off a map.
But it's a very important and very beautiful part of the world.
It's a stunning place. Yeah, I really like it there. I had the pleasure of going first to Auckland, and then I went down to Christchurch and did a big road trip around the South Island. So
yeah,
absolutely wonderful place. But you are not there all the time. Obviously, you're here in Chiang Mai right now, but how much are you traveling?
We've actually been travelling pretty much full-time for the last 8 years.
Wow.
Mostly within New Zealand. Since just before COVID, we started moving into online telehealth, so me consulting as a vet online to the UK, so I do video calls. Mm-hmm. And then we started house sitting. Graham's brother got into us, and yeah, how many houses have we done in the last...
We've just finished our 94th house.
94? I've only done 15 houses, but it's a great way to travel.
But also, if you say 94, it sounds like a number that you don't have in the top of your head. It sounds like you have a spreadsheet for that.
I have a calendar for that, to keep track of where do I live this week and where am I going to live next week. And we started off house sitting in New Zealand, locally at first when I was doing work in clinics, and then after COVID, my online telehealth work grew, so we could pretty much work wherever we have high-speed internet.
Mm-hmm. So are you doing trusted house sitters?
Trusted house sitters, Kiwi house sitters. We've also got a business card that happens to end up in likely-looking mailboxes.
Oh.
When you see a lovely property overlooking the ocean and it looks incredible, we happen to slip a little card in their letterbox, and we've had some amazing properties. Yeah.
And I guess if it's people who have pets, they like the idea of having vets in the house.
Yep,
You have a very good selling proposition here.
We have a very good proposition.
That site, Kiwi House Sitters, is that only for Kiwis, or could I join as well as a Dane?
It's open for all travellers and locals.
Except Danes.
Except Vikings.
You're a Viking, are you not? Way back?
Yeah, the Pickering Castle was invaded by the Vikings, so I'm a Pickering. So.
Oh, well, good on you.
I have so many questions, not only about Vikings, but I mean, at first it's super interesting to have someone on the podcast with none of the typical digital nomad jobs. So our episode 1, we started with someone who is a remote fisherman. And we thought that's already an outlier among the typical spectrum. But having a vet, that sounded to me like one of those people that often say like, yeah, I would love to be a digital nomad, but I'm a vet, I cannot. And now you are the opposite example. How did that start? How did you get into that? And especially as a follow-up question right away, you mentioned that your market is the UK, but as a native English speaker, why the UK and the UK only?
So I had a passion for travelling since I was 15. I had a bucket list. I've ticked a few things off the bucket list now, but the passion's still there. And as you say, it's very hard as a veterinarian in clinic. You're seeing animals, you're in a business. How do you turn that into an online idea? And it's been something I've been putting in place for the last 10 years. How do I at least start being location independent? So that's where the telehealth came in. And I just hustled and contacted and messaged people and expressed interest and managed to land my first telehealth contract. And it's built from there.
What does that mean, contract?
I'm an independent contractor to other companies. So they provide me the platform to work on. And
so there is an animal telehealth platform provider. You're not doing that independently directly with your clients?
Not directly with my clients. I'm actually working for an umbrella company who, the current one is Paw Squad, so they're UK based. I have my license as a UK veterinarian, so I can work with UK clients.
But you had to convert your New Zealand license to British, or are they by default cross-accepted, or how does that work?
Many years ago, I decided that I wanted to at least start some travel and locum work. So I went to the UK and got my New Zealand licence registered in the UK. So I now have UK and Australia and New Zealand registration. Quite deliberate to be able to expand the scope of where I'm licensed.
But can you be a little bit more specific? What is it that you do? Because obviously you don't have a cat or a dog on the table.
And now, I mean, most people, when they think about the profession of a vet, there is this unavoidable picture of this full arm glove. So
No. A cat and dog vet, the glove goes to my wrist level. That's quite enough. So the company I work for, Paw Squad, they contract their services to pet insurance companies. So people who insure their pets have access to consultations online with the veterinarians, and also some of the charity organisations where people are struggling to pay for the care for the pets. They come through a telehealth triage service first. So I do a video call with them. I can ask them some questions. I can get them to do some basic checks on the pet, like is your lip nice and are your gums nice and pink?
Is it still breathing?
There has been the odd moment like that. Is your turtle hibernating or not moving at all? But there is actually a lot that we can do with a video call, providing advice. We've got a lot more time than your average vet would. 15 minutes in the clinic, you're in and out.
Yeah.
I do the night shift, so I'm in New Zealand, it's my daytime. They're in the UK, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's where it makes sense.
That's where it all starts to make sense.
Okay.
I need to talk about Fluffy. Does he need to go to the vet now? Can he wait till the morning? Is there something I can do at home? I just need somebody to talk to. And they apologise for waking me up at 2 o'clock in the morning until they realise the sun's coming in my window. And then they hear the accent. So it's great. We've got some really good heartwarming stories from that.
That is interesting.
I mean, I now have this scene in my head, this British with a dead parrot. You know what I mean?
Monty Python?
Monty Python has to be
This
Monty
is
Python.
a dead parrot.
This is an ex-parrot.
It's more when you get Gordon Ramsay going, a skilled vet could resuscitate this.
Okay. I mean, now we are already in this rabbit hole. Tell us your 2 favorite weird stories.
You can go.
Graham, are you a vet too?
No. I have helped though. We've had situations, Alison managed a vet clinic in Vanuatu while the Australian owners, they went off overseas for a couple of months. So we were there for the whole period, for the 2 months, and you had 3 vet nurses helping. Well, I'm actually a ship's officer by trade, and I'm also a ship's medic.
Excuse me, what?
A ship's officer.
Oh, okay.
So as being a
You're
ship's
a seaman.
officer, yeah. So I've been at sea all my life, but I'm also the medic. So I can given IV, I've stitched a few people up over the years, so I have a limited knowledge of medical things. And in this particular time that we're in Vanuatu, Christmas happened. So her 3 vet nurses went back to their islands, and I'm it. Well, this animal came in. Can I talk about graphic things? People don't like graphic. You can edit it out. Anyway, this little puppy came in with a Doberman and attacked it, and his eyeball was hanging out.
Oh.
And she asked me to scrub in and hold a teaspoon and hold the eyeball while she managed to cut a little slit, and then I popped the eyeball back in, and then she stitched it back up. And so I was part of, so I'm not sure if that was your interesting story, but that was an interesting one for me. And as soon as it happened, she said, "Can you take some photos?" No.
I was worried that you were going to get squeamish. I'm like, if you don't like it, I'll figure it out. And he took one look and said, "Can I take some photos?" So I thought we were on a pretty good
We were well matched.
We were well matched, yeah. And he's helped scrub in on surgeries. Since then, we did some volunteer work with Looney Lombok
in the Gili Islands.
Doing pop-up trap neuter release and medical clinics for cats. So he was dropped in the deep end as vet nurse, and he's drawing up vaccines and injecting anaesthetics and checking how the cats are doing during the surgery and doing all the post-op checks. So, yeah, we're a good team.
Yeah.
That was one in person through the screen. If you have like a telehealth consultation, what was the most off story?
There are incidences where people forget that the camera is 2 ways and it's 2:00 in the morning in the UK, and they don't remember that when you're in bed calling the vet that you actually need clothes on. But there's been some wonderful moments where, like, dog giving birth to puppies, the puppy gets delivered, it's not breathing. I'm 2,000 kilometres away, and I'm like, clean its nose out, pinch it hard in between its nostrils, and the puppy starts breathing and crying, and you're like, that's the magic moment. That's why I do what I do. Yeah.
Wow.
And for those who are not on the video version of this podcast,
there is no video version.
I think I sense that your eyes are getting a little bit wet when you talk about this story. Huh?
Yeah, because I'm passionate about what I do.
Yeah, very obviously.
Let's talk a little bit about scholarship, Christoph. Can you, for the listeners, tell a little bit about what the Nomad Summit Scholarship is and how you guys came into play?
Oh yeah, absolutely. With Nomad Summit, we're on a mission, and that is all about empowerment and enablement. We've talked about that in this podcast from a lot of angles and aspects, like 2 episodes ago, we sat down with Mark, the president of the Foundation for Education of Rural Children here in Thailand, something that we support with the proceeds of the Nomad Week. So that's something where we want to help especially underprivileged families and children to at least reach a level of education where they can make a conscious decision about if they want to choose this location lifestyle or not. So we strongly believe the first step for that is to reach a certain level of education, and we want to support that, but also we want to support people that are already on the track and have made the decision that they do want to pursue a location-independent lifestyle and just need that little last bit to help them over the start line. And that's why we created the scholarship program, now already the 2nd year in a row, where we ask people to apply for free tickets, free accommodation, and a little bit of stage time to just give them that extra boost to just get started. And in the first year we had, in the end, we had 2 of the winners here, Lazar and Sue, who were using that opportunity really, really well to present themselves quickly on the main stage with where they are at right now in the journey, what they're offering, what they're looking for. And both of them are since then have developed their digital businesses, their location-independent career. And now Alison is one of the 3 winners for this year with this beautiful application with her location-independent Vet Around the World project. And I mean, what's not to love about that? That's something we really wanted to support. And especially, I mean, I might imagine some people listening to this, like knowing that vets usually charge crazy amounts of money and they are the richest people in town. That might be the case in some places where rich people have some toy pets, but you guys are on a different mission. Mm-hmm. And that sounded to us like something that, with what the Nomad Summit is, with the people that are coming here, with the connections that you can build, that we can really meaningfully support.
Alison, what made you think we should apply for this?
So it just seemed an ideal opportunity to connect with other people who are living that remote income lifestyle or remote location lifestyle, but also to build our dream and our vision for vet around the world. Yes, I'm privileged enough to have a remote income working for a company in the UK, and so I'm location independent, but our dream is actually to be able to build vet around the world, to leverage the knowledge and the skills that we have, to be able to afford us more time to then go and volunteer our skills in places where it's needed. And we've been to the Philippines already, we've been in Indonesia, both the Gili Islands and Java, helping with turtles in Java, which was amazing. I've just come from Tasmania, where I volunteered my time in one of the big wildlife hospitals, just learning about the lizards and the birds and just some.
Did you see some devils?
We did see the devils. Yep, got to see the devils up close. They're pretty impressive wee beasts, those things. Yeah, just really excited to make some connections here and actually build some of the ideas I've got so that we're more time independent to then go and volunteer and travel with purpose.
Yeah, especially that volunteering part of the story was the one that really convinced us. We were like, yeah, those guys are on a really great mission to do good and to support animals and, yeah, basically help to preserve the planet.
I will add in there that there are very few BMW or Lamborghini owning veterinarians unless they own the practice. Your average bread and butter vet is actually not making a lot of money. And by the time you've paid rent and the power bill and all the rest, you're really not doing as well as you would perhaps in other professions.
Well, didn't you say that when you first started, you were probably earning more than double, actually, in dollar terms than what you are now? And that would be, what, 15, 20 years? So 20 years ago, in 20 years, her income has dropped.
Especially making the move to telehealth and online, my hourly rate is nearly half what it used to be. So the only way that we've been able to do this is to house sit. So we're not paying rent, haven't paid a power bill in 8 years. So we've had to be very strategic.
So you're literally doing back-to-back house sits?
We've got to the stage now, we've got some wonderful house owners who book us well ahead for long-term sits. So that gives us the security to travel a little bit more and to be able to do a few little Airbnbs here and there, just to have a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
What are the regions in the world that you usually travel to? Or what's on your bucket list?
Yeah, what's left on your bucket list?
What's left on there is a long bucket list. So for my telehealth work and the hours that I work, I'm a little limited for my longitude. So Alaska to the east through to Sri Lanka in the west, that's my time zone for where I work.
That's your playground.
That's my playground at the moment. However, I have an Uruguayan passport. Would love to go to South America. I don't speak Spanish.
We've never been to South
that.
America.
How did you get that passport?
My father was born there.
Wow.
So I thought I can get the passport. Let's apply and then we'll see what happens.
Interesting.
So there's projects looking after turtles in Uruguay I'd be really excited to go to, but also in Panama. Floating doctors have got this amazing outreach where they take GP doctors up the rivers into the hill and tribal villages where there's no access to medical care. And you might wonder why, as a vet, I'm interested in that. But along with the village people comes their animals and a lack of access to health care for the animals. So they're starting to now bring vets along these boat trips. And myself as a vet,
That's
Graham
our goal.
as a ship's officer,
we'd
love to go and help out.
Yeah. So, Graham, your bucket list, is that similar, or do you debate and align, or do you just go where she wants to go?
We've pretty much decided, whenever Alison and I go, she's sick of it. I said, do you want to go back renting? Do you want to go back and rent a house? And straight away the answer's no. So moving around 94 times, a lot of people would hate it, but we absolutely love it. And we've both given each other the opportunity that if either of us have come to a point where we don't want to do this anymore, either of us can pull the pin. But we both love it. So we're both extremely united in what we do. We both have a passion to want the more remote income, and well, for me, I would like to build residual income that basically you do something once and it carries on paying. So I've done the share market for probably 30 years, and so I retired from being a ship's officer, and during that time I studied and learned about the share market, and so for me, this is our second marriage, so we have our separate incomes as well. So Alison is not paying me. I have my complete separate way of funding my life. And then we have a joint account where we're flying somewhere, well, we pay half each. And then if we're not staying in a home where we're house sitting and we're staying in Airbnb, well, we just pay half each. So pretty much everything that's joined is half each, and then we have our own separate lives as well as that. So when I was younger, I worked flat out and saved and got myself a property. So I have investment property as well, which is so my long-term goal is to have residual income, and also preferably income that is not affected by inflation, or what I call it debasement of currency. So you've got to look at hard assets, and so that's my passion really. And my passion, if that works successfully and you have income that allows you to do what we do, we can carry on volunteering. And how much money do you want?
Do you have a home base anywhere?
Our home base is in Tauranga, where I built my house in 94, and we do have a little office there. When we started house sitting 8 years ago, we pretty much sold most of our stuff, and we did have a base, which was my mother and my father were alive at the time, so that was our home base. When we started our house sitting 8 years ago, what we didn't sell, like our bed and our some flash clothes if we went to a wedding or whatever, that was our second base. But then they've passed away, so pretty much we've just sold everything, and now we just travel. And so when we're travelling here and you go to the markets, there's all these amazing things, but it's a monkey on your back you've got to carry from place to place. And,
exactly.
And we don't want monkeys.
No.
Yeah. We're happy to help monkeys, but we don't want monkeys in our backpack.
As long as they're not macaques. I detest macaques.
Yeah. I hear from so many nomads, myself included, that when you hit that 10-year mark or get close to that, that's when you like to have a home base again. I've been completely without a home base for 9.5 years, and on Monday I'm getting a keys to a 12-month lease in a small apartment here that I'm just going to have as a base. I'm not going to stop traveling, but I'm now that I made the decision, I'm actually looking forward to buying. When I say, "Oh, that's a nice T-shirt, let me buy that," because before it was like, if I buy one, I have to throw one. But it's different, and it's so funny. I've heard from so many nomads, they say it's around the 10-year mark. Do you see that happening for you?
We've got a couple of years to work on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and right now you look like absolutely happy with that lifestyle. Just like myself, I'm on the road for about more than 8 years now and still celebrating this location-independent lifestyle every single day.
Yeah.
And we're lucky that one of our regular house sits in New Zealand is a beautiful property, 2 cats and a dog. We've been there.
It's almost like coming home.
It's coming home. Yeah. They leave the keys. The dog's like, woohoo, it's you again. And we just chuck our stuff in the corner.
Even though it's the vet. Usually the animals don't love the vet.
The cat sleeps on his side of the bed, doesn't want anything to do with me, but that's another long story.
Well, as soon as the cat arrives, you pick it up and you look inside its mouth, you check its ears, you lift its tail up to make sure everything's all okay in every direction.
No. There is a long story about one of those cats getting sick, which we don't need to digress with. But shall we say we ended up with our mattresses on the floor for 2 weeks in order to be able to look after the cat. But
in your house, has there ever been a situation where the owners were like, "Oh, I'm so glad I had a vet here"?
That's that exact sit that involved The owner's being in Europe, he's a retired GP, so at least he's got some medical knowledge. But one cat got really sick. We sorted that out at the vets. Was kind of ignoring the other cat's cough until that cat stopped eating. And long story short, we ended up taking that cat into the local vets, got x-rays, got antibiotics, got worse, needed a 2-hour drive to the emergency hospital in Auckland. And we're trying to communicate with the owners what's going on. Do you want the expense in us doing this? And the blessing was our lifestyle enabled us to have the freedom to go, we'll take your cat in your car, we'll drive to Auckland, I'll set up my workstation at an Airbnb while it's in the hospital. When it's all ready, bring it back home again. Mm-hmm. And they were extremely grateful. And they said at one point they were thinking, do we come back from Europe to look after the cat? And he looked at her and said, we've got a vet looking after our cat. Why do we need to come back?
She's probably going to do better than we can. Yeah.
But it also means, like, if there's a competition on these platforms and you have several house sitters applying for your house, no one has a chance against you.
We've got a fairly good
strike rate.
We've got a list of references that support the work that we do as well.
Okay, so for everyone listening here who is considering using house sitting as a means of accommodation, first check out where Alison and Graham are going and don't go there because there is no point. You will.
I'll counter that. Because we're so booked up, probably 6 to 12 months ahead, there's actually plenty out there for everybody.
Yeah, throw a few my way.
Yeah.
Something I was just thinking about it. To start off the digital nomad life, you have to somehow to move around and have income with what you're trying to create from your digital life. It's expensive if you're staying in hotels everywhere. So for us, by reducing our outgoings, enabled us to put our time and energy into building our YouTube and working online. So if we had to go back to a physical job, well then it would all fall apart.
Because then you have to have a house and pay rent and the rubbish collection and the light bulbs and all the cleaning materials and all the stuff that we don't do.
Yeah. You mentioned YouTube, so you run a YouTube channel.
Yeah, we started a YouTube channel. Well, Alison... Well, we just started videoing what we're doing. We were helping some animals and we decided to start that. And Alison does the editing. I do the video. I've got a drone. And, yeah, we've got now 164 videos.
Whoa.
We will link your channel in the show notes below.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
like and subscribe because we're very close to monetization. And that's going to be one of the keys for us to be able to volunteer more and have to work for other companies less.
So when people go to your website, Vet Around the World, what can we expect to find?
So vetaroundtheworld.com is a reasonably basic website that I've put together myself. There's some information there about house sitting and our house sitting service. There's a few little blog posts there about some of the places that we've gone and volunteered and travelled to. But the main reason for that website at the moment is linking through to our YouTube channel because that's where our focus is at this point, is to get that one project off the ground.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you're here. It's so fascinating to hear your stories from a different kind of nomad couple. So really excited and looking forward to seeing you at the summit.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
It's going to be great to meet everybody.
Thank you so much. So if you like this podcast episode, don't forget to subscribe. Recommend it to your friends. You will find us on wherever you get your podcasts. We're on all of them, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also directly on our website, nomadsummit.com/podcast.
Thank you so much, and see you soon.
Produced by radioguru.co.uk.